Happy Saturday, January 13th, 2018. Yes, Saturday, not Friday. I've decided to move the podcast to a Saturday release instead of Friday because of the schedule crunch that Friday creates. With me working 4 10-hour days and having league on Thursday night, it's virtually impossible for me to get it up early and be ready to put out a decent time on Friday. Not to mention most people work Monday through Friday, and I mean, who's really going to watch it if I got it up at 10 a.m. Friday anyway? Plus, I don't want to get it done too early and then have some kind of news happen like what I'll mention here in a minute. But the last several I've gotten up so late it was barely Friday anyway, so I'd like to have more of a scheduled release time instead of just whenever I happen to get around to it. And before we get into it, I'd like to wish my daughter a happy birthday. She's 22 today. We don't really have much planned, but sometimes those are the best days when I just have the time to do a whole lot of nothing or just go do something on a whim. So either way, I hope she has a good day. We're less than a week from the staff ordering date for the Sonics, so 2 weeks from today I have videos for it. I'm pretty excited for this one. I don't see any way that it won't be epic, and I've got some pretty awesome things in mind for my opinion videos, so it's getting hard to wait now, especially since I was ready for this a couple months ago. But we also had a surprise dropped on us a few days ago, the next ball in the signature line, which is another Belmo collaboration in the drive. I also want to correct something from my preview video for it. Apparently there have been a few cases of NRG hybrid before, so they're all overseas, so we still haven't seen anything in the States, but apparently my 6.5 minutes of research I did before claiming that we hadn't seen NRG or any kind of nano hybrid before apparently wasn't enough, go figure. But I did want to point out that I was in fact wrong about that. So now, I still do get excited for ball releases. Obviously, it's a little different because every time a new ball comes out now, I know I've got 6 to 8 hours of work ahead of me per ball, but you guys have all really made it worth it, especially with the fuses and the HYB videos, and especially the drive preview. I think that we got 5,000 views inside of 24 hours, which I mean is nuts for a bowling video with no bowling in it. My editing software recently started freaking out and just randomly freeze for no reason, and now it would auto-save at certain points, but I lost about 4 hours of work overall until I finally got it fixed, I think, which it really sucks when you're editing. I mean, it really requires a lot of touch to get things right, and it's odd to watch a clip and say, well, that feels too long, and then or this pause is too long, or should I cut this out? And then you adjust it, and then, okay, well, it's too short now, and then you get it just right where you want it, and then the software freezes and then dumps all that work you just did. So that's frustrating, and it made for a really long weekend, but I think I got it fixed. So what's in the bag? The bag got a little shakeup recently. The No Rules Pearl and the Hectic have made it back in addition to the Intense. The Hypercell Fuse, the All Out, and the Matchup Hybrid. I've been seeing recently that the Danger's more of a tournament ball. The track doesn't quite break down enough for it to be really effective for me, and if it does happen, it's like the 6th or 7th frame of the last game, and that's not when I really want to mess with a whole lot of stuff. Most of the time we just move a board or two left and call it a day. The High Road Nano isn't the greatest choice for me in League, and the No Rules Pearl and the Hectic are just too good to leave at home. The HYB is going to be a tournaments only ball. It should be really good when I have a lot of oil up front, because I think the higher rev rate you have, the better this ball is going to be for you. So if I can really hit up on it at the bottom, or I can play straighter, I need to be able to really spank it at the bottom for it to be fully effective. So it's just not going to be a league ball for me. The Sonic will likely displace the No Rules Pearl. I said in my Fuse video that I doubted that there would be enough room in a bag for a Fuse No Rules Pearl and the Intense, and the No Rules Pearl is kind of it's the smoothest of all of them, and that's really, especially with league conditions and you have a higher rev rate, most of the time you end up playing third-ish arrow, and the No Rules Pearl is just not a get in and really bend it type of ball. I had another big set with the Intense last night, so probably the NRP is just going to go back to being a tournament ball. Now, I know I said that I was going to start doing success stories. This has been predictably hard to track. Fortunately, really, I'm glad I've had so many replies. It means that you're all doing well, and that's the whole point. But sometimes I don't get the notifications. With the channel's actually getting really big. I'm pretty close to 2,500 subscribers, and I have a lot of people watching videos that don't subscribe, and so I get comments from all kinds of people. So to ensure that you get your name and accomplishment recognized, what we're going to do is please only leave them in the comment section of the podcast videos. So that way I only have to pull up the previous week's podcast and they're all there. Hopefully, I mean, they're all there on the video. I may not get the notification for it, but it's probably going to be there on the video. Makes it a lot easier to track, and really the point is I just don't want to miss anybody. So if you commented previously, just leave a comment letting me know. I'll get you on next week. Next week is when I'm going to start doing it. So if you commented before, that's fine. Just comment again, just below on this video, and I'm going to get this thing up and going next week. So if you comment somewhere else, I can't guarantee anything, but if you leave a comment below, you will definitely be in next week's episode. So I also said last week that I want to talk some bowling, but I don't want to do the spoilers thing, and I just got around to watching some team trial stuff a few days ago, even though I already know what happened due to all the hashtaggers on Facebook. It's hard to avoid spoilers these days with social media and everything, so I'm going to try not to contribute to that either. And if I wait like a month, it's just going to be old news anyway, so highly doubtful that I'll be talking any tournament stuff. If it's general news, sure. Tournament or event results, nah. Just not going to happen. So the team trials have given me a short talking point for the week, and it kind of continues from last week as far as tournament participation and betting on yourself. There's a lot of people that I'm watching at team trials that at surface value appeared to have no business being there. Like I said last week, the whole point of entering tournaments to win. If you aren't trying to win, then why are you there? But before you can win, though, you have to lose a lot. Losing teaches you how to win by identifying things you should and shouldn't do. It gives you a very large sample of people both doing it right and doing it wrong. You can't learn how to bowl tournaments by bowling league. It doesn't work that way. You have to bowl tournaments. So at the beginning, barring some bad luck or handicap adventures, every tournament's going to be a tournament that you have no business entering. So the people too quickly forget where they came from. A few things irritate me more than superior bowlers looking down their nose at people who, at the time, have no chance of cashing. Now, number one, experience is a necessary evil. You have to get it. Most of the time, that means spending a lot of money and a lot of time bowling and not cashing. And number two, those kinds of bowlers ought to be elated that you're there, because that means more money in the pot for them. Like, what kind of sense does it make to condescend to all the donators? The more the better if you're going to cash, right? I mean, more participation also means more interest. More interest could mean sponsors and added money to the prize fund. So if you see where I'm going here, plus it's something like team trials, maybe it's just the experience. I mean, I'd love to go bowl something like the Masters or US Open. Just say I did it, not because I'm actually going to compete. And once again, horrible tournament attitude, but to go bowl qualifying, maybe get paired up with a couple names or two, have some fun, then stick around, watch match play in the finals and everything. I mean, who doesn't think that that's a good time? So, I mean, furthermore, who wants to go to a tournament where everybody should be there? I mean, it means you got to work harder to get paid. More than likely means the money isn't worth working for in the first place, because there's probably not very many people there. And if bowling has a problem right now, it's that there's not enough people there. Not for league and tournaments anyway. I mean, bowling's seen a big resurgence in the open play side of things with more modern and fun centers, and traditional leagues and tournaments are really only surviving on history and the few new ones that somehow get hooked in it. But most of the time, walking into a regular bowling alley is like walking into a time warp. I mean, you automatically go back to 1970 with virtually everything. Feels more like a school field trip to a museum or something. Now, if there's one thing that we as humans don't seem to do very well, it's build on the past. Now, all throughout history, it's get something started, let it get out of control, burn it down, and start all over again. Instead of building through success, it's digging back through history to figure out what they did wrong so that we can try to avoid the mistakes ourselves, or try to learn how to build something without destroying it. But that's something that I've always found odd. Like, why are we looking backwards to figure out how to go forwards? Now, learning from mistakes is a lot of looking back on and analyzing the past, but also what we seem to miss are the failures and successes of peers. Like, why can't we learn from our contemporaries? If someone's having success, what are they doing to gain it? And if they're failing, then why is that? You can't always copy the specific actions of another person or group, but there are always principles or ideas that these actions are based on. You just have to do them in your own way, like Tamara and I. We have very different styles of making videos, but we're both successful because we work off similar principles and ideals. Information is important, honesty is important, and while neither of us started where we're at now, I know my early videos are pretty bad, but you have to start somewhere, and as long as you start with a good foundation and pursue the right things the right way, good things are eventually going to happen. And tournament bowling is the same. You've got to start somewhere. Nobody walks into their first tournament deserving to be there. Few people walk into their 20th tournament deserving to be there. So some people do it just because they like to compete or participate. It's pure entertainment for them. And some people whine and complain that, well, they might as well just set $100 on Fireball in this tournament. But there's also people that had season tickets to watch the Cleveland Browns. So if you want to complain about people wasting money, there's other places outside of the whole bowling tournament thing to gripe about wasting money. So bottom line is that we should want as many people there as we can get to show up for whatever reason they want to be there. I mean, their $100 is worth exactly as much as your $100. I think I did the math right there. But just shut up and deal with it. I mean, the people at the top, for some reason, don't seem to realize that the people on the bottom are the ones who make everything work, not the other way around. You have a product, and then you have a consumer. Without a consumer, it doesn't matter how good the product is. If there's nobody to buy it, it doesn't matter. So that's all for this week. Remember to comment with your success stories if you want to make it on the podcast next week. I may get around to some of my other video projects on the list here in the next couple weeks. And there's also a new beer frame in the works, at least. But if nothing else, I'll continue to see you every Saturday, or you'll see me anyway, and then we'll have the long-awaited Sonic Plus Now the Drive to talk about in 2 weeks. So thanks for watching.